So it turns out yesterday, late evening, we have had our very first defection from Reform UK, believe it or not. And this isn't one of their MPs, it's actually one of their councillors, believe it or not, in Kent, of all places. Remember, Durham and Kent at the moment are like the crown jewels. They are desperate to prove that they can govern effectively there. And to be honest, they can't. Durham is an absolute mess. Kent is going the exact same way. Why? Because they are all infighting. And honestly, at this moment, I really need to, I think, look back into what happened when UKIP took over Thanet. If you remember that incident a couple of years ago. Well, not, yeah, a couple of years ago now. And how all that went down when Nigel Farage was involved, because that seems to be the exact same thing going the same way, where defections, infighting caused such problems that they all, well, just fell apart. And we are already hearing that this is what is going on in all these local parties, that they are infighting like crazy. There is even this weird rumor going around that apparently Darren Grimes does not like George Finch because he thinks that Finch is apparently stealing his spotlight. So that could be very interesting if all that kicks off as well. But don't worry, we've got to cover this because honestly, no one knows the reason why this person has jumped ship from Reform to UKIP. But that's what's happened. They haven't come out and publicly stated this is why we've moved, but apparently this has just happened. Maybe in this week, maybe later this week, we will get the reason why. Until then, who knows? But this is something that has happened, and it is quite interesting to talk about, that you would have a switcher from UKIP to, well, from Reform to UKIP. And trust me, UKIP is not the very same UKIP itself. Indeed, the TDLR of UKIP, since Farage left after the referendum, UKIP basically just went down and down and down until it has now become a party that is being run by crackpot lunatics, as you'll see in a moment. So, before we get on into this, please do remember, of course, to click on the like, share, and of course the subscribe button down below. There are links to, of course, the Patreon page, the Buy Me Coffee link, where you can, well, buy me coffee, the YouTube thank you button, and of course, as always, there's the YouTube membership button down below as well. So let's crack on then into this, because this is, I think, kind of interesting in the way this is all gone down, that's for sure. So, on to the BBC, where I sort of first saw this. So, Reform UK County Councillor defects to UKIP. This is basically just a story. Really quick. No one knows still the 100% story of what's happened and why this switch. So, a Reform UK councillor in Kent has now defected to UKIP. It has been announced. Amelia Randall, who serves as the Bridgeton and Rural Division in Thanet, has now left the party 4 months after now being elected. A Reform UK spokesperson said, "We remain committed to our mission of delivering for our residents and ensuring that Nigel Farage becomes Britain's next Prime Minister." Doesn't speak volumes to the fact that you've just had a councillor quit. There you go. The opposition leader at Kent County Council, Anthony Hook, has now called for Randall to resign and a by-election to be called. He said she should resign so that Bridgeton residents can now make a fresh choice about who they actually want to represent them. As of last week, Randall, who has been approached currently for comment, was still posting on Twitter in support of Reform UK and is is understood to have actually attended its conference at the weekend, according to the LDR service. The departure now means that Reform UK has 55 of the 81 councillor seats at County Hall. So, interesting times going on here. And remember, no one knows what's happened here. No one knows. So, if we go over to Kent Online, we still don't know. All again, here, defected. A statement from Reform UK headquarters has confirmed that she's switched. Again, opposition leader calling for to resign, for a by-election to be called, talking about how, this isn't the same UKIP under Nigel Farage. But now you go on to the comments, and you see a lot of people here saying, "Oh yeah, typical." Someone else writes here, reform runs reform. Nigel Farage runs reform like his personal fiefdom. There are many people just with an array of misfits, racists and fruitcakes who join the party or defected to it because of being rumbled as expense fiddlers. When they realize that it's actually just a one-man band that only exists to massage Farage's ego, they resign or seek another channel for their activities. This is the reason why Thanet UKIP imploded when Farage was involved. This is the reason that already one of five MPs has now fallen at the first hurdle, and this is the reason that Councillor Randall has now jumped ship. So we still don't know what the reason is, but that's what people are hoping, at least. This is, again, insane. But we don't know why the reason. And then you go onto a Twitter page. So the only two things they have posted so far from her is to say, you know, oh, look, I've defected. You know, and of course they've joined her with a tweeting saying, you know, delighted to be accepted by UKIP. We must now carry out mass deportations and must embed Christianity back into the soul of our country. That is the only way we can save Britain and take back control of our country. So by the looks of it, you know, Christian fundamentalist, and best what, that's what UKIP has now become. As I said, the TDR of what's happened to UKIP, it's become complete and absolutely run by crackpots and lunatics now. And then the only other thing that she's posted is, as a UKIP representative, this is what she's apparently standing for locally. Sort of putting local people first, referendums on major local issues. Again, what a waste of money. Why elect someone at all if that's the case? So this is what, again, end the war on motorists. What war on motorists? End the war on woke. Sorry, end woke. Sorry. No more climate emergencies. So yeah, typical, UKIP, but more nonsense you're seeing from these lunatics. And then she finishes off with trying common sense and determination. I believe that these local policies can actually be delivered better. Remember, it is your local authority that provides your day-to-day local services, which rely on, not the government. Hence, now the big important issues should be put to a local referendum to ensure what we are doing is what local people want. I wonder, is there anything going on? And maybe is this related to local government reform? I highly suspect this might be the case, but already you can't stop local government reform. This has already been a thing that has been decided. It is happening. They cannot stop it. And, maybe if you had actually run on this issue and, talked about this issue with local residents, maybe you could have got them to support an idea. But yeah, I think the reason why she's left is local government reform, because local government reform is happening in Kent. I wonder if under that proposal she is going to lose her seat. On that, wouldn't be surprising, but as always, interesting times on this. So fun times ahead that they've gone and accepted this. But yeah, UKIP has become really, really weird. Even more weird than before. Under things like people like Paul Nuttall when he was the leader. If you remember that back for that then. But that is essentially what UKIP has become now. Crackpot lunatics. And now you've had your first defection from Reform UK to UKIP. Will there be more? I don't think so. Why she's moved? Who knows? Will we get a reason? Who knows? If we do get one, I will, of course, tell you it, but I've no doubt it is going to be crazy. So, as always, Thank you very much for watching. And of course, as always, leave your comments down below. And of course, remember to click on the like, share, and comment on your way out. And we'll see you all next time.